Whenever, are you ready? Looks like we got the high sign, so it is after 6 o'clock. We'll call our meeting to order. Are there any additions or deletions to the agenda? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
So moved.
Support. We have a motion to support. Any comments, questions? All those in favor, please say yes.
Yes.
Any opposed, no. Motion is carried. Roll call. Has it been taken? Yes. You are completed. Thank you. Pledge of Allegiance. If everyone would please rise and join us for a pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Welcome, Max.
Hi.
Sorry we couldn't wait for you. Excuse me. All right, so at this point, we'd entertain a motion for the approval of the minutes of the February 13, 2024 regular meeting and the February 13, 2024 closed session meeting. And the closed session meetings should have been in front of you in an envelope. Everybody seen those? Your pleasure on those two actions?
Move approval of the minutes of both.
Support. Have a motion support. Does anybody have any comments or questions? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say yes.
Yes.
Any opposed, no. The motion is carried. Okay, first up, we're to hold a public hearing at 6 p.m. or as soon thereafter as the agenda allows to consider the establishment and declaration of an industrial development district on behalf of Bob Bissell Trucking. Your pleasure.
Move to open the hearing.
Support.
A motion support. Comments or questions? All those in favor, please say yes.
Yes.
Any opposed, no. The motion is carried, and we have a hearing. Are you taking the lead, or are you going to let Casey run the show here? All right.
We've talked about it, got it all worked out.
Okay.
Yeah.
It went well in rehearsal, so
That's
you
right, that's right.
got the live show.
3:30 today, we prepared. So today we have brought before you a request for an industrial development district on behalf of Bob Bissell Trucking. They are looking at a potential expansion in the next year of manufacturing space. They are currently a manufacturer, but this new project would bring manufacturing to their services. And in order to qualify for a future abatement, it needs to first be declared an industrial development district. Again, having this designation doesn't mean that they're approved for an abatement. That application will come at a later date once they have their building planned out and job creation and investment numbers. This just is the first step in having that available to them in the future. And this would be designated as Industrial Development District 2024-01.
Who's the first question for Casey? Sounds like all good news to me, so I like the jobs, I like the building. It's
Good to see the local companies expanding their services.
Absolutely. Okay, is there any members of the public that would like to address the commission on this topic? And not seeing anyone come forward, we may entertain a motion to close the hearing.
Move to close the hearing.
Support. Last chance for comments or questions. All those in favor, please say yes.
Yes.
Any opposed, no. Motion is carried. Thank you. We've closed the hearing. Next, you may want to consider a resolution establishing and declaring an industrial development district for Bob Bissell Trucking at the 2000 East Superior Street location.
Move to adopt.
Support.
Motion support. Any comments or questions? Hearing none. All those in favor, please say yes.
Yes.
Any opposed, no. The motion is carried, and we've got a new district. Cool. Number 2, we're going to hold a public hearing at 6 or as soon thereafter as the agenda allows to consider two requests for a PA 198 industrial facilities tax exemption certificates, both for Avalon and Tahoe Manufacturing Incorporated. Your pleasure to hold this hearing.
Move to open the hearing.
Support.
We have motion support. Any comments or questions? Hearing none. All those in favor, please say yes.
Yes.
Any opposed, no. The motion is carried, and we have a hearing open. Casey, are you doing this one too?
Hi, Casey.
What'd you bring Jim for?
I'm the emotional support man.
Oh, okay.
She does all the work.
I did tell him the wrong time today originally.
And yet he followed you anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so today we have two separate industrial facilities exemption applications on behalf of Avalon and Tahoe. Again, Avalon has been a great industrial citizen in the city of Alma, and they are the largest private employer in Alma and the county with around 500 full-time employees. Their most recent expansion, it seems like an annual thing at this point, but was in 2023. And they currently have the largest footprint of any manufacturer in the area. The first application is a typical industrial facilities application of 10,000 square feet. It is a building expansion that is actually a lean-to onto their loading facility. This will expand the company's ability to load boats safely and efficiently. The project is expected to be complete by April of this year. It will retain 3 jobs and create 3 jobs. And the total amount requested on that one is $179,000. And that's just real property costs. The second application is a rehab, which is the first time I think we've all done this. So, but they took the former Alma Products Blue building, which is right across from them. So it's their expansion into what they call their South Campus. They demolished part of that building and retained part of it. The existing foundation, the demolished part will be used for a new building, and then rehab the portion that they kept will have include new doors, roof, windows, and utility services. And in addition to the $1,323,000 investment in real property, they also have an equipment investment of approximately $100,000 there. It will include 10 retained jobs and 3 new jobs when it's complete. So I think that's it. We also have Frank and Jim from Avalon here to answer any specific questions you might have.
Okay. Thank you, Casey. Who has the first question on either of these? Again, it's just more good news. This is a great night, so.
Yeah. I was not aware that they have gone to largest employer in the county.
Yeah, largest private employer, but yeah.
Yeah.
I think you're only second to the hospital.
Cool.
Okay. Don't think we've got many questions. Are there any members of the public that would like to ask any questions on these topics, either of these topics? So, not seeing anybody come forward, we'll entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
Move to close.
Support.
We have a motion and support to close the hearing. Any last comments? If not, all those in favor, please say yes.
Yes.
Any opposed, no. Motion is carried and the hearing is closed. Well, next up, we're considering a resolution authorizing PA 198 Industrial Facilities Exemption Certificate for the lean-to expansion for Avalon and Tahoe Manufacturing.
Move to adopt. Support.
We have motion and support. Any comments or questions? Any more background? I don't think we need any, but nothing. Okay. If we hear any questions, all those in favor, please say yes.
Yes.
Any opposed, no. That motion is carried. Thank you. Next, we will consider a resolution authorizing PA 198 Industrial Facilities Exemption Certificate for the South Building Expansion for Avalon and Tahoe Manufacturing.
Move to adopt. Support.
Okay, we have a motion and support. Last chance for comments and questions. Hearing none, all those in favor, please say yes.
Yes.
Any opposed, no. The motion is carried. We've got another one, so thank you very much, everybody involved in those projects. We appreciate the expansion in town. We appreciate all the jobs you brought, as well as the buildings you're building. It's just great to, we're glad to have you.
As always, we like working with the city, so.
We look forward to seeing you back here again.
Fantastic.
Thank you, and congratulations.
Have a good evening. Thank you.
Thank you.
And thank you to Greater Gratiot Development, Casey and your
Casey,
Jim there. I do know you guys provide an important service for our industries and our businesses as they're expanding and growing and surviving.
These guys are fun ones to work with, so it's
Well, they've got it figured out by now, too, I think, so,
They got the formula.
Yeah.
It's always more fun when you're successful in any endeavor. So. But it's good. It's a team effort, so we like that. All right. Move on down to resolutions. We are to consider a resolution ratifying the list of investments for the city funds. And there's a whole bunch of them there. A lot of CDs and some CDRs and even some treasury notes we're buying. So.
Move to approve.
Support.
Okay, we have a motion support. Any comments or questions? Don't hear anything, so all those in favor, please say yes.
Yes.
Any opposed, no. Motion is carried, and your investments are ratified. Good job, Curtis. Moving now to H, ordinances. We're to consider a resolution to introduce ordinance number 843, which is an ordinance to provide for the allocation of past due debts which are owed to the city of Alma to property tax liens against real property which is owed by the debtor. To provide that pending proceedings are not affected, to provide for severability, and to repeal all ordinances or parts of ordinances in conflict herewith, to provide for an effective date, and to direct the publication of this ordinance or a legally permissible summary. Your pleasure.
Move to introduce the ordinance.
Support.
Okay, we have a motion to support. Can I get some more background? We talked about this
Talked
in the
this
past.
our last meeting.
Last time, yeah.
This will provide us an opportunity, mainly with our code enforcement, when we write citations after working with the homeowner or property owner to come into compliance. If they don't, and we have to issue citations, if they don't pay them, we can lien them against the real property that they own. So this will give us another tool. We hope, we don't have to get that far, but we hope that that will give them an incentive to, gosh, they don't have any way to enforce me to pay this. This will be that backdrop. Yes, it will be paid, so we hope that you would take care of what we've asked.
So it puts a little teeth into the request if it's ignored. So.
That's it, exactly.
I'm surprised that that's not already on the books.
We don't.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
It really hasn't been that long that we've addressed some of the blight issues and things that it's
Yeah, I
kind of
guess true.
been, most people over the years comply. So hopefully they'll continue to, and we'll see even greater compliance going forward. So.
Exactly.
Any other questions or comments? Okay. We have a motion on the table, so all those in favor, please say yes.
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 Any opposed, no. The motion is carried and the ordinance is introduced. Next up, we have reports of the officers, boards, and committees. Any commissioner may receive the following reports by one resolution, or any commissioner may remove any of the items within the section for individual discussion and vote. To be easy tonight, we've only got the city manager's report, so
Move to
it's
receive.
a short list.
Support.
We have a motion and support.
All right.
You want to give us your,
Yes.
okay.
First item, we have a couple dates to hold a public session between City Commission, Planning Commission, and the general public to do our Alma-specific planning portion. The dates that CBI, Community Image Builders, who's our consultant, has given us, it's a Monday, March 18th, or a Thursday, March 21st. Is there one of those dates that's more,
Mondays work better for me.
okay,
I'm good with both.
18th's okay with me.
okay.
Trying to get my
Right.
calendar just 1 second. I think Monday.
Because this will
I
help
would,
Casey
yeah.
too. So she's
Prefer the 18th.
18th.
Do you need to check your calendar, Roxanne?
No, I just had to pull my phone out of my thing there. I couldn't.
21st is my birthday, and I can think of better
Yeah.
things to do.
Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah, 18th is fine.
Okay. All right.
Better than this? Roxanne? Really?
I think I
Well,
said my
it's-
birthday.
You know,
Wow, where's your priority?
I have to here.
Well, all right. We'll do Monday, March 18th. We'll send out a
6 p.m.
6 p.m. and we'll try to book the library for that.
I will confirm with CIB again tomorrow just to make sure their schedule didn't change between when they gave me those dates, but
Well,
I'll send it to you tomorrow.
Okay. Just tell them that this is our date.
With or without, Bob?
Send someone.
Thank you.
There's
Casey.
4 of them, yeah.
I appreciate that. Thank you. Casey's been doing a lot of this running around trying to get everyone together, so do appreciate Casey's work on it. Probably the biggest item I have on the newsletter here tonight is this AT&T cell phone tower lease. I was contacted originally by a firm called MD7, and they're working with AT&T on, basically they're going out and trying to renegotiate leases all across the country, really. And they reached out to me and they basically told me that, well, we're looking to reduce the number of macro towers, the physical towers that you see up in the air everywhere. And because we're moving to this small cell technology and these lower orbiting, I don't know the technical term for these things, satellites, that they'll be using those. So, and over the next few years, they'll need fewer of these macro towers to run their system. So they're looking to cut some costs.
So they're looking to get out of
What they've agreed to pay right now, yep. Right now, we are under a contract, actually, that is in 5-year increments, and we're good through 2041. And currently, our lease rate is at $15.30 per month, and our escalators every 5 years are 10%. Our next 10% jump would be in October of '26. What they're kicking out to us, and this is, I back and forth with them, it wasn't really much of a negotiation. It was really just about, all right, here's the first number we're giving you, and this is the last number they're giving you, and that's where we stopped. And that's at $12.75 with only an 8% rate increase that wouldn't kick in if that was agreed to until October of 2031, which is a 7.5 years out yet. So just looking at that 2.5 year time period between when here we are now, April 1st is if we'd agreed to go into this, to our increase in 2026, just that alone before the 10% increase, we could lose $8,415 over that time period. Really, the only, I guess you'd say, quote unquote, benefit is that the likelihood if they start to close down towers or shut down towers, that you have a better chance at keeping your tower active because you have a lower lease rate.
After 2041.
Yeah, we could, but right now, we're still in this contract, so this is nothing we have to,
And they're gonna pay whether they still continue to use this or not, right?
Yes. Yeah, they would, if you would have entered in this
Yeah, and they're
agreement.
trying to say that, oh, we might do it, continue
Yes.
beyond in the future. Well, we all know technology is going to dictate what they have and where it's going to be more than whether or not we're cooperating and giving them a discount today, so.
Much of it's going to VoIP, that they don't need the towers anymore.
Yeah. Well, we did have T-Mobile, who was Sprint. We had Sprint on there for years. They did pull their equipment off about a year and a half ago, give or take, because T-Mobile, and I found this out recently by talking with a few individuals and then speaking with this attorney, that T-Mobile, a big part of their plan, or their business plan, is they don't put up towers or try to lease towers. They buy space. So they buy a lot of space from these companies, AT&T or Verizon. So them pulling that off, because I was wondering how T-Mobile was still going to keep some of their service coverages that they say they have here, and that makes sense how they've been able to do that. Looking at the Third and Fourth Amendment that we have with AT&T, there is nothing here that is a benefit. In the last amendment, a piece was added in called removal and restoration, and in that piece it says that if they ever decide to shut off our tower, that we would take off the equipment and restore the surface. Well, I'm assuming probably why that was agreed to at that time was that we had an agreement till 2041, and that every 5 years we had a 10% escalator that was going through it. So, taking that all into account, and I wanted to bring this to you so you know what was going on and what's being said to not just me, but almost every municipality or someone that has a tower on their private property. This is what's being said. After talking with the attorney he's dealt with this, that's one of the exclusive things he does. He said, well, if I was a city, I'd be very hesitant to sign it because there is nothing that's benefited from you from the third to the fourth. Not even, because I did say, well, let's take out that removal and restoration clause if you want to negotiate. No, can't do that. So there was nothing.
There's only downside.
Yeah, there's the only downside.
At least that they're committed to.
That they're committed to.
Yeah.
So what I asked the attorney to do for me, and he worked with Ithaca on their towers down there, is to read through our leases from the very beginning to where these amendments would be, and it would be about $600. He said right around that cost, and then give me his feedback on those, because there's a lot of hidden. They had this at one time, but this was amended, but this didn't go away, type things in there. So I'd like to bring that full amount back to you, not just for AT&T, but also for Verizon, because they're asking for the same thing. So you have the full information before you make a decision, like say, hey, no, thanks, but no thanks.
Okay.
But that way, I've
Good.
presented all the information to you, and you can make a decision, because if they technically would take it down, that's over a 10-year period, you're talking $120,000 that you would lose over that 10-year period, even with the lower rent increases, with the lower rent. But the likelihood of that happening, they just got to take those all into account, and that's why I would like to get this attorney's
Good, thank you. Good,
But
way to
if they
go.
take it down, they still pay us through 2041, right?
No,
No.
no, no, because the way AT&T is, that's what's so weird about these. We shut it off and we can give you 30 days notice, but then there's another item in there about a 60-day notification when you come up on your 5-year period that, hey, we're going to shut this off and we're walking out of the agreement. Verizon's the same way with that one, but AT&T has this other clause in it that says, 30 days we can notify you and we can shut off.
So then what good is the guarantee?
There is no guarantee.
No, I mean, what's
Yeah.
our lease or whatever? I mean, if it's,
Because we're in this,
Right.
if they continued, if we said no to them,
right,
we continue with our lease until they would shut it off. It just,
right, but where is our benefit for being this lease until 2041 if they can just shut down their equipment and be done?
it may be the same thing on the other side. And that's
I mean,
that's
there's
what
a
they're,
reason why we would want to shut them down and...
Well, we're getting the rent.
We're getting the
Right,
rent.
right, that's right.
that's the only thing they're saying to me. That's why they're coming to us,
They're
basically
using that as
saying,
the arm twisting, and
Yeah,
if
that we
you don't
could
do
shut
this
you.
to me, I'm gonna just shut you down
we're
and
gonna
you
shut
don't
this
get
off.
anything.
Yeah, we're gonna shut this off. But this is what's being said to
Everybody.
But I wanted to bring this to you as soon as I got something that was tangible to share.
But you got this attorney that specializes in this, he's gonna bring us back a review of these contracts and
Yes.
probably a recommendation?
Yes, from the very beginning, they were signed in,
Good.
one was signed in 2005.
For $600, I think that's good money.
Yeah, I think that is.
And another one was signed in 1998. And they've amended and such over the years, and companies have changed.
And I'm sure we didn't understand them well because I'm sure it was their paper it was written on.
Yes.
It's contracts, we didn't.
And plus, like I said, when you look at the current one we're under with just AT&T, maybe we agreed to something, but we looked at it and said, okay, we're gonna be working with you till 2041.
Right.
And we expect to see these types of increases. And even as talking with the company and what they provided, I was like, okay, so what guarantees do I have to you if I take this lower amount that we agreed to that that you don't in 2 years come back to me and say, we need another reduction, or we're gonna do the same thing all over
Right, it
again.
doesn't sound like there's gonna be any guarantees of anything.
No, there's no guarantees on their
I don't
side.
like, yeah.
On our side, we're guaranteeing everything.
Right, right.
We are guaranteeing everything. We're guaranteeing
What's wrong
space
with
at all
this
times.
picture?
And then in AT&T's case, that if they decided, nope, we don't need any more, we're responsible for removal and restoration. So it's been
AT&T and Verizon are the only two up
that
there.
are up there, yes. Yeah.
I guess I'd be interested, as long as you're getting a review from the legal perspective, and I don't know who would do it, Dave, or somebody, could you get an estimate what it costs to remove the equipment and dispose of it? I mean, that's may not be a small number.
I would imagine it's not. There's got to be a large crane involved with that.
Didn't you just say an amount there?
No,
Oh, I
no,
thought
there
you said
isn't.
100.
No, when I asked them about that, because I was like, okay, you don't want to take it out, so what's this going to cost because you have to have some number somewhere, because you're paying third parties probably
Right.
to remove this equipment. Well, we don't. So it's been like I said, it's been a very one-sided
I'm surprised we
discussion.
agreed to that. So that was in that original contract?
That was in our third amendment.
Third amendment?
This is the fourth one they're presenting, so, yeah. I guess what I'm saying, that's why I would like to have this attorney take a look at things from the very beginning to where we're at now, to provide a clear picture on that.
And I would imagine we never had it reviewed by an attorney in the
Yeah,
past when we
probably.
signed these. It was
Little
just-
clauses.
They brought us a deal, said, we're gonna put a tower up,
Some money,
and
yeah.
we want to use your water tower, and
Yeah.
Yeah.
sign us up for $1,000 a month or whatever the number was, and
And the numbers have never
salary
gone,
didn't took it.
yeah, the numbers have never gone down. So when they've come to the commissions in the past, it was an increase. It was never like coming to you to say,
Right.
you need to take less, guarantee everything. So,
But it sounds like they clearly see some technology changes coming, and,
And don't have the need for it.
yeah,
Well-
or may not, we're gonna have needs
may
from
not.
us at some point, but.
because like I iterated to them, is like, well, we're a very rural area. The small technologies, you need a lot of them.
Right.
Placed in a lot of places.
Yeah, that's a good point.
likelihood of it happening, because one of the comments made to me by the attorney is, we were all promised 5G, right? Have you seen 5G everywhere? So that's the same
Right.
See it
thing.
on all the ads.
Yeah. So he said, if you do want to proceed with that, that's up to you and the commission, but this is what I've seen. And I said, well, I'm sending, and I've already sent him all the information to start review. Told him I'd speak to you tonight. And he said he would have something for us before our next meeting to discuss it at our next meeting.
Sounds good.
Okay.
Sounds like a plan.
It's been more than interesting. I've never heard anything like it. It's a negotiation without negotiations. So,
Well, hostage taking.
that's what it's kind of been in discussion. So, police policies. Just as a reminder, back in November 2022, our police department received the Michigan Law Enforcement Accreditation, which is ran through the Michigan Association of Chiefs of Police. We are just a handful of departments across the state of Michigan with this accreditation, and even fewer that of our size that have this accreditation. Within that process and then ongoing use of those policies, procedures, there's training, and then constant review of those trainings and the policies that are being followed, those sorts of things. It does require basically A to Z, everything that our department does, or any department does, that you must have a policy for it, review of those policies and trainings on those policies. Included in that is our pursuit policy, which is very solid. It mirrors our state police force's pursuit policy. Differences are that obviously they're covering the whole state of Michigan, and they have some things in there about crossing state lines and things like that that we don't, but ours fits right in there. This, of course, was part of our overall review and approval process for this accreditation. And like I said, always an ongoing review of those policies and the trainings that take place on a yearly basis. Our review, the accreditation is good every 3 years, so our accreditation will be coming up for review and approval in 2026. 2025. But in the meantime, there is still paperwork that needs to be submitted to the Michigan Chiefs Police Association as you go through the years to keep the accreditation. And just as some background for pursuits, over the last 5 years, there's only been two pursuits other than this one in the city. And one of them was the shooting that we had here at the City Hall. So it's not something that's done on a regular basis whatsoever. And it's done, when it is done to the policy that's outlined there. So, and I just wanted to mention, 2 weeks ago, the State Attorney General did hold a press conference about the Michigan Law Enforcement Accreditation Program. And during her talking points, she did encourage all departments that if they are not accredited, that you should be working toward that. And that they're working on putting the money aside to find ways to help departments get the accreditation to do those things, to get there. Those kinds of talking points that are coming out from our Attorney General mean that most likely that's going to be the way things are done in the near future. Give it 5 years, and that will be, if you want to have a department, this is what you need to have it. So,
Need to be accredited.
so we're in real good shape when it comes to those sorts of things. So I just bring you up to speed on that.
I suspect that going forward, there'll probably be some insurance cost if you're not accredited
I
or
would
following the boilerplate policies, yeah.
But all right, and then on to some more legal type things. We are very busy, and we would like to keep some things moving a little quicker and more timely for what you expect here at the commission level and then the general community. I would like it if you would give me the opportunity. I would like to bring in an engagement letter from the firm of Braun and Kendrick, specifically working with Frank Keating from that law firm to help us with additional municipal items or issues that are out there. the municipal attorneys that are out there, they're all busy. And if you're not on their, kind of client list, you don't necessarily get priority to get into that.
It's like a retainer.
Yep, and we don't have to pay anything out of pocket.
But we don't have to pay anything.
But it also does give us a better favorable hourly rate if we do engage with them. So if you're okay with that, I'd like to bring that to the next commission meeting and do that. And hopefully that will it would just help get things rolling a little quicker and keeping things moving that I know we all expect. So if that's okay, I'll do that. And then some very good news, some employee certifications. I just want to share with you that we have library personnel that are continuing their educations and working to be better employees, and our public works going through trainings for rescue and confined space and all those things that we were just talking about with liabilities, that if something happens, if you have these trainings in place, that it does lower your liabilities when it comes to those. And then our folks out at wastewater that have gotten their Class C certifications in the wastewater plant, which is good news because building that department back up. So I'm very, very proud of all those employees that are listed there, and I thank them for their commitment and their department heads for making sure that they're able to go and get that training done and keeping them moving forward. So with that, that's all I have for this evening.
Okay. Who has first questions? Okay, hearing none, we have a motion on the table to accept the city manager's report. No more questions. All those in favor, please say yes.
Yes.
Any opposed, no. Please say no. Motion is carried, and you received your report. Thank you, Eric. Moving on to unfinished business, we would consider a resolution to approve a request for purchase to CNR Electric in the amount of $16,600 for the purchase and installation of poles and fixtures to replace the lights at the corner of Wright Avenue and Heather Lane. The issue was tabled for our last meeting at February 13th, 2024. Your pleasure here.
Move to approve.
Support.
We have a motion, support. Comments? Questions?
I can see what you were talking about when I went by there. It seems pretty well lit now with the parking lots and stuff there, so I'm not 100% convinced. Do we need to purchase those? Did anybody else go and look?
I went back out and looked again at it, and I became even more convinced that we don't need them there. That's not the best place to use our money. I think there's a lot of other needs for those. I mean, it's not tons of money, but I think there's a lot of places we can use it
by the
better.
size of them, and I could see if they fall, that is not going to be a good situation.
Yeah, if they're in shape, take them down.
Bringing them down makes a lot of sense. I was more concerned about the missing ones that had already fallen that were further out. We're in some of those maybe in spaces that are not particularly well lit. But,
There's one over by the credit union, I think.
yeah, there's a few on that kind of
Yeah.
route horseshoe right there that might be a better use of, I don't know if it would be possible to take these down and then put up the missing ones out there or.
Absolutely.
But it just made more sense for the light, I think, out there. I could imagine people walking back and forth from the apartments needing that light. But yeah, the ones that are all gathered around the Big B and that seemed okay.
There's a lot of light there, it seemed to me.
Yeah.
Agreed. Agreed.
Okay. But since we're talking about, we could take a look at those ones that are, like you're saying, out on Warwick Drive and things that have.
Yeah, because this was 4, and I think there's 3 or 4 missing.
Yes.
That had fallen down earlier or whatever.
That's correct. So we could, if that was something you wanted to do, Dave, is that something we could just take those 4 down that we're talking about here, since we have enough light, the commission feels that there's enough light, still make this purchase and take these lights and put them out on Warwick Drive where those are currently missing, because there is sidewalk out there and it is dark and it is connecting Charles Avenue
Right, and
apartments.
that's
Yeah, I was
I
just
was
thinking about
concerned
people
about just
walking
with
through
the Warwick Living Center, and my spatial direction is horrible, but, up by Big B and all that, I think you're right that the lights are, but we had all that brouhaha with that I wanted to make sure that we were lit going towards there and the walkway to the apartments, just because, we've not had any issue there, but I would want to make sure that we keep it as lit as possible.
Yeah, I think it's just like Drew said, there's a long stretch there
Right.
that's not well lit.
Right.
So as opposed to
people
putting more
walking
light
through the
where it's already
apartments to Rite Aid.
lit.
Right.
It'd be going along there. and, yeah.
Seems to make more sense.
If that's what you'd like to do, I would.
Yeah, there's likely be an added cost. That won't be the exact same just because of the cost to take down the others, but we can ask for revised pricing.
Yeah, let's see what that's gonna,
So I guess for now, this motion is on the table. We'll vote yes or no on this one, and then you'll probably have to come back with another proposal for that, if that's what everybody's kind of thinking.
Yeah, to me, I just think if we're prioritizing, I think those lights are more important.
Yeah,
To walk.
those lights are
If we can only
playground
buy one
equipment or
the
something in the
other,
parks, I don't know anything.
I mean, if we've got the money, add more lights everywhere, but I think
Yeah.
that those are the most important.
But we don't have money
Yeah,
for lights
I know.
everywhere.
So I made the
Point well taken.
We don't want this, do we?
So you made a motion to, the motion was
Motion was
to,
to put the lights where they are currently down, which
Right.
we really don't think.
so if you don't want that to happen, we would
We have
vote
to
no,
Okay.
and that would fail.
then we can start.
Is everybody clear then? Is there more questions? Okay, so all those in favor, please say yes. And those opposed, please say no.
No?
And the motion is not carried, so we have turned that down. Okay, thank
Do we
you.
make a new motion or do we have to wait?
No, not yet.
We'll bring
I
that.
think he's gonna get some
Okay.
different pricing and I don't know what all it involves, because there'd be some capping off, I'm sure, of some
Gotcha.
power cords or whatever.
No, we need cost.
Some wires that are sticking up on those old ones need to be dealt with, I'm sure, somehow.
We'll get some back.
Okay, so thank you very much, I appreciate that.
Thank you for bringing it up, Greg, for us to go with it.
Well, I just happened to wander out there and see what we were talking about, and it just seemed like it was not the best use of funds at that point, so. Appropriations, do we have any interest in paying the bills tonight?
Move to pay the bills.
I don't feel like paying the bill.
Okay, one for, one against so far.
Support.
We're gonna do it one at a time, but it's good to know. Okay, we did have a motion support, and a touch of dissent, but any comments or questions on the bills? Curtis is here, it's time to ask him. Don't hear anybody, so all those in favor, please say yes.
Yes.
Any opposed, no. Motion is carried. Thank you. Sorry, Lori.
I meant my own bill.
Commissioner, I bet you pay your own bills too, Lori. Commissioner comments, and Lori, I'll give you first crack here.
Oh, okay. I think the election primaries went well and smoothly. Good job on that. I know it wasn't easy. Gratiot County players are now in the running for Willy Wonka and the Willy Wonka
Chocolate
and
Factory.
Chocolate Factory. Thank you. We had 126 audition, which is, I think, a record for our theater group. And Drew's very talented daughter got Violet, which we're pretty excited. She was awesome. So anyway, so that's the next show. That'll be in May. That's it.
Another fine performance, I'm sure.
Yeah, sure.
Seems to me that Mike Carr has a part in that also, doesn't it? I think. Mike Carr also has a part in it. Our compliance officer.
Oh,
So 126, do you know how many people are going to be in the show?
126 audition. Oh, no, I think
43.
it's
43. That's still a big cast, isn't it? I don't know if that's a record or not, but that's a lot.
Not the cast size isn't a record, but the audition, number of auditioning is a record.
Well, that's good news.
Yeah.
Good work being done down there in our art district, so.
In our art district.
Yes. Anything else, Lori? Andrew?
No, not really. Get your Willy Wonka tickets.
Is there a gold ticket or something?
Get your gold ticket.
Okay, Roxanne?
I don't know if this is the right place to ask for, if you would please consider excusing me from the March 26th meeting. I'm going, Wells and I are taking a road trip to visit my brother in New Jersey and his wife. And thanks to Sarah and her crew for a smooth election yesterday. I know that's never an easy task. So we appreciate you. And that's it.
Okay, thank you. Roger?
I'd like to extend congratulations to this many people getting certifications of the city. I didn't count them on there, but there have to be 15 or more. 18 on there, who are doing what they should and really taking this stuff seriously. Want to do as good a job as they possibly can. the city of Alma, and that just shows a real dedication on their part, and I'm very pleased with that, and I want to congratulate them. And congratulations to Sarah on another job well done. Crazy job, but well done.
Yes. Anything else? Sarah?
Nothing to say.
Nothing to say. All right. Eric, anything additional?
So I just echo everything that's been said about the election. Sarah did a wonderful job. Amy, and then all the election workers. It was a challenging year. And they all pulled through, I think, pretty smoothly. When I came in on Tuesday, I had Monday off, so I came in on Tuesday. Sarah looked calm, actually. So it was,
Maybe you're the issue, not the election.
yeah, maybe she looked calm. So I was like going, oh, everything must be going great. So, and
Monday, Mondays off.
I have a feeling you're confusing calm with exhausted.
But no, she had very good co-workers and everybody there, so she spoke very highly of all that, and I appreciate everybody's efforts, and I know it's a long day for everyone, and it's much appreciated. It's very much important to our democracy, so we really do appreciate that. And then I want to thank the commissioners for taking that time to go out and actually look at those lights, and thank the Public Works crew and department for putting that map together, and you taking that and then taking out, take a look at that. I do appreciate that working out as well as it did, so I appreciate that. Thank you.
And I certainly want to add my thanks to Sarah. I know, by virtue of this seat, I get to serve on the Election Commission, which we have a small part in helping Sarah do some testing and whatnot. And I do see her, a small piece of what goes on, and I know she does a very thorough job. She is extremely competent, and this year was especially difficult with all the changes to the laws and the regulation, and she, working with the county and the other municipalities. So our thanks to you, Sarah, and your whole team, and everybody from the county and everybody that's involved in all that. So it is very important to everybody that those things run smoothly, and once again, you did a beautiful job. You came through with flying colors, so thank you. And certainly have to echo Roger's comment about everybody, everybody in the staff going for certifications and awards and additional training. That's just great news. You love to see people doing things to better themselves, to better their skills, and it just brings more life and more better services to the citizens of Alma. So that's great to see the enthusiasm from staff. So appreciate that. With that, and certainly thanks to Avalon Tahoe and Bob Bissell Trucking for their future investments and current investments in the city. Love to see that happen. Jobs are the basis of everything. Just without jobs, it's just a tough life for everybody. So those things are extremely important, and we're glad we got, Greater Gratiot, and we were able to make all that stuff work here. So as soon as you find somebody for that other land out there, we're ready to go. So if you're not doing anything yet tonight,
What was it?
Yeah, we put out a couple fires over there. It's the second highest hit for site development in Michigan, I think.
Yeah.
So it's got everything.
It gets a lot of looks.
all right.
So
We got a sold sign all ready to go. We got the right one there.
yeah, it'll happen. It really will.
Probably some
Well, we're looking forward to that. Too.
Yeah, it really is.
Well, we appreciate having you guys to help attract that, because it doesn't, we just don't have the staff to do it on ourselves, so it has to be a countywide site. It's appreciated. Okay, I've said enough. With that, we'll open it to the public. If anybody'd like to address the commission from the public, please go to the podium, state your name and address, and you have up to 5 minutes to share your thoughts with the commission.
I won't take that.
Talk slow.
Dave Owens from Seville Township, the County Commission. We just agreed to terms with the road patrol on a new contract. It took a long time to get there. And now they will be paid the same as the police officers in the city of Alma. Who knew you guys were the gold standard?
Oh, we did.
And thanks for having a short meeting.
We do what we can. And the floor is open, Jan, if you want.
Yeah, what time did your meeting start tonight?
6 o'clock.
Oh, I thought it started at 7. I'm sitting out in the parking lot waiting for it. Yeah,
You're just in time.
Okay, that's good. I have another meeting to go to, so I was going to see if I could come up early and talk, and then leave to go to my other meeting. So,
You can't come any earlier than right now, so.
okay, well, yeah, that's great. I left a, what do you call those? Little, well, let me start with this. First of all, and
Could you introduce yourself, please? Yeah, I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm Jan
The
Bunting,
cameras?
County Commissioner Jan Bunting.
Thank you.
And in the month of January, Tim Gay and myself took and went to Saginaw to the college, and they had it was a seminar of solar panels and the wind turbines. And I thought it'd be interesting because my district and, well, all of Gratiot County has both. And it was a very interesting meeting. To get into it, you had to have a driver's license to even get into this meeting. And there was also Kurt Giles that had also went that day, in fact, he sat down 4 seats from us. But what I wanted to bring back to you, and I left I took pictures of all of the slides that they had. I think there's probably maybe 3 or 4 from the slides that he gave you that was missing. But a guy came out, I cannot tell you all their names because I forgot to bring the paper, but this guy came out and introduced what it was all about and that we were going to have 8 speakers. And what was interesting is that when they started out, they talked about that your homes would not lose a value of the property and stuff like that. And I thought, well, that's good. And continued on talking. Each one of them that got up there would talk about something different about the solar panels. And what my curiosity was to know a little bit more about them and how they work and all that stuff. But we were never, we sat in the dark. It was very dark, so you couldn't really write anything. And so that's why I decided to take the pictures so I would have at least, could refresh my memory. I had no idea there'd be 110 of them. And so, but I'm glad I did do that. But the things that I'm bringing back to you was we were never allowed to ask a question. Each person that came up and talked and then walked off. And I thought that was kind of strange because usually each person will say, do you have any questions? And at the very end, we still were not allowed to ask questions. A couple of the people in the audience did stand up and hollered out a question or two, and they answered it as they were walking off. And so there was a group of people in front of us. The one lady told me that they have 800 acres in Shiawassee County that's all solar panels. And so I went down there and drove down through there. But she said that they didn't care. I mean, that's, whatever anybody wants to do, that's great. The problem that they ran into is that they had a hailstorm and it broke a lot of the panels. And they found out that each one of those panels has a liquid in it, which is very hazardous. And so also that it has rained and a lot of the area underneath these panels become a swamp. And so I drove down there and I thought, well, maybe it's because they're so close together, tight, that's why they can't get in there to change them. But you could almost ride a motorcycle down through any of those aisles. And they do look nice. And but she said also the problem will be 30 years from now, they don't replace the panels. So if it breaks, at least there's several companies. And so the company that they put in down there, they do not come back to replace them. If they break, that's it. And so the issue now with them is that what's it going to do to the ground or the water that goes down into the aqua, where you pull your water out, especially people in the country. Is it going to contaminate that? So that was probably what I brought back to our commissioners, is that there was a concern on that. We already have panels going in here. I've heard Pine River is one of them, and Arcata is another one. And I just think that sometimes it sounds like a great idea, and there's always questions that you don't know that you should ask, until afterwards. And so that's what I wanted to bring to you and bring it to all my townships and stuff that I go to, that these are some of the things that we want our farmers to know, to be asking, if it breaks, do you come back and replace it? And do you clean up that area where the liquid has gone onto the ground? And so that's kind of what the word is that I wanted to get out to everybody. And then towards the end of the ceremony, or the program that they had, is that they went from saying that you wouldn't lose value of the house, And then they also talked about, they had a house that was $100,000. They sold it for $125,000, $130,000. And then a year later, it sold again and went over $200,000. And it was actually right in the middle of all this wind turbines and stuff. And so, these are things I don't know. I mean, who knows what will be 20, 30 years from now. But just a few questions that we might pass on to the farmers, and I'd like to get it out into the open too. And I've left the, what do you call it?
Thumb drive.
Thumb drive, that's right. I don't use them. I never use a thumb drive until then. I had somebody else do Angie, the clerk, did them for me. And actually, we were going to take and run them off, but there were so many. And I was going to also email them to everybody, but you can't email them, it's too big. So we put them on a thumb drive, and I gave one to Eric. But if you guys have any questions, I've been going to a lot of seminars lately about a lot of different things, and I just think that sometimes when you get I have the time now to do this. And so that's why I wanted to bring it to you. And if you have any other questions, I do have the brochure, which I left home today, but I've been all day, and their names are on there. And the other part is when you're looking at that, very few had an email address or a phone number. I think I found 2, and when I was looking through it real quickly, I had to blow it up on my camera to see if there was any email addresses or phone numbers, but we had no way to contact anybody on this.
Big secret.
Yeah. Yeah, it was strange that, like I said, you had to have a driver's license to get into the meeting, and then once you were in there, there was room for probably 150 people, 350 people in this auditorium, and they turned off all the lights, but there was like a little table there, and I thought, good, I'll do some writing here, but it was so dark we couldn't see anything. And we sat quite close to the front, and then I decided, and then they also, in the middle of, after the first or second speaker, they said, we're going to pass out literature to you when we're all done. But I still took pictures. I thought, I'll just take them and compare them back and forth. But after it was over with, we were never passed out anything. So, but they did have a luncheon for us. Tim and I went over and had lunch, or it was at 5 o'clock at night. We had that, but still nothing was ever passed out to us. So I'm glad I took the pictures.
In fairness, your 5 minutes are up. I cut you off, but...
well, Dave probably didn't take the full 5 minutes, so I took part of his.
He did that, but...
I told him it was a short meeting up to that point.
Well, it's nothing personal.
Thank you, Jane.
Sorry about that.
Okay, any other members of the public like to address the commission? No rebuttals, Jim? Okay, with that, so we'll entertain a motion to adjourn tonight.
Well, see, I could have stayed longer.
So moved.
Okay, motion support to leave. Anybody last comments? None? All those in favor, please say yes.
Yes.
Any opposed, no. Motion's carried. We are adjourned. Thank you very much. Everybody have a great evening. Appreciate it.